it. Yeah, let's just let it
All
roll.
right, we're gonna get into this. All right, that's the wrong one. There we go. That's better. I think that's better. I don't know. It's weird. All right. So everyone, hopefully technical issues are working now. Today I have Bob LeMent, right? LeMent.
Yeah, Bob
All right.
Lemon, how you
I
doing?
got a name right. Okay. I've
It's
got Bob
easy.
LeMent with Static Radio, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
you
it.
guys have been around since the 90s?
Yeah, so we started our show officially January of '99. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. We did a few test shows in '98, but I say officially in January '99 is when we started doing our weekly show online.
Okay. Now, how did you guys start off? Like, did you do an internet radio or was it an actual radio show?
So we actually started on college radio, and that's where the
Oh,
whole
all right.
concept for the show started. Was he Miles and I, who's my co-host, we did a college radio show down at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale for a couple of years while we were going to school there, and then graduated in the early '90s. And then in '98, I said, "Hey, we could just do this online if you want to." And so I figured it all out back in the day and had access to a real media server, which no one's going to know what that is, but there may be a few diehard people out in the world now that still know what that is. And so I had a real media thing, and so we did, online radio back in '99, and we've been basically producing a weekly show ever since.
What do you guys usually go with? Because I happen to skim through some of the things I've seen you're just everywhere. Like, what's your go-to usual thing, though?
What is, what do you mean? I'm not sure exactly what the question is. So, like, what
Like,
service do we use, or what?
like the like for your show topics. Because I've noticed
Oh
like your
no,
show topics
it's
are
totally
everywhere.
random. Totally
Okay.
random. So basically, the concept behind the show is something we used to do in college, which at the time in college radio they wanted to be kind of like real terrestrial radio at the time. They you had to
Yeah.
mimic all that. So we would play songs, and then in between songs we would tell a story or two. And so whenever we started doing it online, it was kind of the deep in the throes of Napster, and so we couldn't play songs. We are going to play songs and just do kind of what we used to do, but I didn't want to get sued at the time, and because they were suing everybody,
Oh
and
yeah.
and so we just did the stories. And so yeah, each week we don't talk to each other ahead of time. We get on and we each usually have a story or something. And a lot of times, what happens is there is a lot of coincidence where one story that he's telling or I'm telling spurs another story that the other one's going to tell. So it really is quite totally unscripted and off the cuff. And yeah, the topics just come from anywhere. It could just be anything, something that happened, something you saw, something that didn't happen. I mean, it runs a gamut on experience or experiences, and we just kind of go with it. So
I mean,
yeah,
that's all you
we
really need. Is just go with it.
yeah. So yeah, we've been telling stories every week for 24 years now.
Man, here I am just
Yeah, you
doing
think we get tired
daily.
of talking to each other?
Yeah, not at all. I still talk to the same assholes I went to school with.
There you go. See, exactly. Exactly. So
Hell,
yeah, but yeah, that's the gist of it. But the slogan is basically this the strange and humorous stories, basically, of two Midwesterners. So we talk about stuff that's weird. We talk about stuff that happens. And usually try to make it funny. The
oh
idea is to
yeah.
crack each other up. So
Now, did you guys go to school for communications then?
we actually were both film majors. We both went to school for film because this is all
Oh,
pre-digital
right.
at the time, or at least the cusp of digital. I remember when we were in college, the first Silicon Graphics, which if anybody remembers that, was coming on. They had one in there at the college that nobody got to use, basically, and the faculty used it, and the students got to look at it. But yeah, it was the cusp of digital, and so to the '90s, then everything kind of was started happening, and so yeah. But we both went to school for film specifically, and then to be honest, neither one of us really work in it. So there you go.
It's weird that way because I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
because I graduated in 2009, and
Mhm.
then I went to one of the community colleges, and I went there for a general education. Lo and behold, to me, you needed so many other things that I was like, I don't need this. I wanted to do something, to get college credits to go get something
Mhm.
else. And I was like, no,
Right,
no, no, I can't do this. Well, you know what? I don't want this then. So
right,
here I
yeah.
am going off doing different things.
There you go. Yeah. So, but yeah, we both create stuff and whatnot, and that this kind of a branch of the creator side of things still that still survived through all the harsh realities of the rat race.
Ain't that the truth? Hell, there was a point in time I remember I tried to start a podcast with a bunch of friends of mine, and it was like nobody had time for anything. So here I am
Yeah,
soloing this shit.
that's what happens. You would not be surprised. Miles is not the most committed, and so basically I've drug him across the last 24 years to do this shit. So he half the
Like,
time he's not he's I call, we connect, and he's not there, and then I gotta track him down.
right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I noticed that quite a bit too. Is like, hey, because I've got a group right now because we were talking about Dungeons and Dragons earlier and how I run a
Yeah.
game on Sunday. I've got a group of other dungeon masters, and Thursday, surprise announcement for everybody. Thursday, we're
Uh-oh.
going to start working on getting an actual DM Academy show going. Because
Okay.
between the three of us, we have a whole idiot. So we can make this work. I just don't know how yet.
There you go.
And,
The
yeah.
Dungeon Master Academy. Is that what
Yes.
the name of it gonna be, or just DM Academy?
Title pending.
Title pending. Okay.
I mean, I have no idea because there's a lot of different names out there for dungeon master.
Right.
Like there's one called How to Be a Great GM. There's another one called the Dungeon Layer. There's Dungeon
You
Master
call it
Excel.
S&M Academy, and you get more than you bargain for
I
on that one.
mean, I mean, you could also name it Roll for Whips and Chains. I mean,
There you go.
it
There you
just
go.
doesn't. You never know. But
Studded leather.
that is very true. I mean, yeah,
There you go.
the underpants of confidence. I mean, who knows?
Ah,
But no, I mean, we just happened to talk about it one time. We're like, we should probably do this. We could see how well this would work, and it's going to be similar to how I run my podcast. Of like, we take questions from people, and we try to between the three of us, we ask like how we would solve each scenario,
oh, okay.
how to get like. It's realistically being a dungeon master is like writing a book in general. You got to start off with your plot, your villain, and how does the villain get the thing done, and
Right.
then you
Yeah.
just work backwards to get to the starting point. Like it, it can be challenging, but I've been doing it since 2006 ish,
Yeah.
off and on, and so half the time I can just go, yeah, I got a campaign ready. I'll just
There you
just
go.
right off the bat and my players don't know this, even though they're probably watching, but I wing about 80% of everything they do.
Well, hey, I mean, what more do you need, really? I mean,
I know where
that's
they're
the way
going.
life works. Isn't it? You wing, you get started and you wing it
Right.
till you get to the
That's-
end. You have a goal and start winging it.
All right. Well, look at your podcast. Same thing. You got a
Exactly.
goal and you
Same
start
thing.
winging it.
Have a goal and start winging it. That's it.
So have you? Oh, let me ask you this: have you interviewed anybody that's your favorite so far? Have you done like any kind of
Oh,
favorite interviews?
have I ever gotten an interview with somebody that I really wanted,
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk? That's a good question. Everyone who we've interviewed, it's always been kind of interesting. Now, we don't do a lot of interviews, to be honest with you. It's more just our stories that we tell. But early on, pre-podcasting, so before 2004. We did get a few interviews, and the one that I probably wish would have happened, but Miles spoiled it, was we had Will Wheaton was going to be on our
Really?
show. Yeah, probably circa 2002, maybe.
Right.
He was right at the time. He was not. So he's had fame a couple times, right? So when he was a
Right.
kid, then he kind of fell off the face of the earth for a while, and then he came back here not too long ago. He's riding a high right now. So this
Right.
was this was during the lull, to be just to be perfectly honest. And
Right.
he was writing a blog. He was a blogger and he was a writer. And I was reading his blog and I wrote him and I said, "Hey, we're doing this thing." And he said, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool. I'll be on it." And so I had it all set up. This is this is before Skype, before any of that kind of stuff,
Right.
for Zoom. And so basically, it was just going to be a phone interview.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so he was going to be on and everything. And then I made the mistake of including Miles on those emails, and then he decided to ask an off-color question about Stand By Me, and then he was out. So
Ain't that a bitch?
yeah, so I was like, So anyway, now if I have somebody, I don't include him on the emails.
Right.
But and then I mean, he wasn't being intentionally. Well, he was being intentionally terrible, but that was kind of the show. You know what I mean? We're
Right.
a little bit off color no matter what. But yeah, I really wish that would have happened back in the day. Because he was certainly been a fan, and I still think he's kind of interesting person. He's had an interesting life. So, but
Right.
we've interviewed people who wrote books, and there was a guy named Martin Sargent. I don't know if you remember him from Tech TV days. We interviewed
Vaguely.
him. He used to have a show called Unscrewed, and he was on Screensavers. If you ever watched Tech TV back in the day,
No.
and this would have
Okay.
been the early 2000s. So folks like that, but I wouldn't say. It wasn't at the time. I mean, now people go on podcasts and so forth, but back then, I mean, they didn't want to do it. It was
Right.
like you were a big idiot if you were doing this kind of stuff back. And even at the birth of podcasting, you were just some kind of goof, some kind of nerd that was just getting on the internet and doing stupid shit. So it's changed a lot over the years. Just to
Oh
say,
yeah, it has. Oh yeah, it has exponentially changed over the years.
that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say the only other person, and I did not get to interview them, but I have had correspondence, was Adam Curry. So in the early days of podcasting, or before podcasting, actually, Adam Curry used to do the Daily Source Code. If you ever listen to that, you can read about
No,
it
I don't think I
on
did.
the podcast, lore on on Wikipedia or something. But anyway, he was working with Dave Weiner to make RSS enclosure to do podcasting. And I thought I was listening to him he was doing a thing called the Daily Source Code, which was just a show where he talked about them working on stuff and other stuff. And anyway, I wrote to him and we had exchanged some emails. And lo and behold, podcasting was born. And we were one of the first. He used to have a list. We were one of the first 50 shows that he listed. He used to have a little list that he used to do before he did the podcast index, which is the thing he does now. And we were part of that. And the interesting thing about that is that became Apple Podcasts.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
I mean, it's a weird chain of events they go through for sure.
Yeah, Apple stole from Curry
I
at
mean,
the very
I'm pretty
beginning.
sure Apple steals a lot.
They
Just
stole from everybody.
yeah.
So apparently he wrote about it somewhere. But yeah, that happened many, many years ago. So that's one of the kind of brushes with infamy or something you want to say, was being involved in stuff like that back in the day. And we still kind of kicking around now. I mean, there's so much going on now. And how you and I connected, because there wasn't any kind of portals
Right.
to connect with people. You had to find a show and write to the show and do all this other kind of stuff, which I did back in the day once in a while. But really, I mean, we've kind of gone through a couple of generations of success and then failure for podcasting. Now we're kind of mainstream. I would say podcasting is a mainstream thing now. But
Yeah.
back in the early 2000s and into 2010 and so forth, it wasn't so mainstream, and a lot of shows came and went.
Yeah, I mean, I think podcasting really took off and just kind of got like a death grip on everything is when Joe Rogan took off. I really think that's the
Rogan's
line.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he started it and everyone started following him, it seems like.
Right, yeah, that and I think just prior to that would probably be the NPR style things with all the
Yeah.
murder crap. You know?
Yeah. Tonight at
But, I mean,
7, did she do
that
it?
wasn't the popular. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm like, why couldn't we come up with a murder podcast? No, I'm like, nah, it's not my style.
I mean, technically I have a murder podcast. It's just in the fantasy settings and my friends are the murderers.
Oh my goodness.
But they're killing imaginary creatures.
That's true. Yeah, I guess the D&D stuff you'd have,
So it's like,
you're killing orcs. You
yeah.
could do the orc news today in Orkville.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of
was
Justice.
He was minding his own business down in the tunnels when somebody killed him for his ruby.
Yes. Which
You could do
sources
like a
say.
fake, newscast from someplace in Middle Earth or something.
So I have thought about this, and I'm going to be working on it at some point in time because I do have 20 episodes up right now of recorded of what we've done. Mm-hmm. I have thought about doing a somewhat similar to what you're doing with your cartoon character as a figurehead. To do that and just be like, here's the news for the world. And it goes through, like, it's going to be, like, maybe a 10-minute video of just, like, going through and, like, catching everybody up. And then I can place it so that way it's, like, a TLD or, too long didn't read kind of thing so people can catch up.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this, the cat character came about, it was pre-COVID, so, 4 or 5 years ago now?
2019.
I wanted to animate the show, and so I created all the cat in this little set. And actually, if you look, there's like a lightning bolt thing off to the side there.
Yeah.
Miles is in the other chair. Normally, I zoom in for just me for this one. But so this is happening in real time for this particular situation.
Right.
I put it all together prior to that real timeness of it. And then I would take our audio on 2 separate tracks and then animate 2 characters talking, which was us telling our stories. But it was just too hard to maintain at the time. But so now I've adapted it into doing these interviews. So because I've got it all set up to be real time reacting to my voice, and I can move my head. See.
Yeah, you're the
you're move my eyebrows. Yeah, you can do. I can hit buttons to make the arms move, but I'm not too adept at that, and unfortunately, sometimes I kill things by doing that, so I don't move the arms too much.
I mean, just look into I think it's called V-tubing, where you can actually it just renders the body, and you just rig it set up for your hands to move and whatnot.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the DMs that's going to be for the DM show, he is a VTuber, so
cool.
It's going to be interesting to see his thing. Knockfield does that. Yeah, he's in the chat right now. He's laughing at me.
Yeah. And I pretty much just got it looking at my face, so I don't have like a full shot of myself, so I can move my arms around, have them tracked or anything for this one. But maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I thought it fit for all this kind of stuff. So
I mean, it's a hobby, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how much you want to put in your hobby? That's really the question for you.
But I always also try to do things that I'm interested in, and this was something I was curious about. So I'm like, hey, I'll see if I can get this to work. And then, you can take it from there. And if it gets to be too much, then you'd have to drop it and you do something else. But yeah, with Zoom and everything, they've got avatars and things that you can use now. This is all through Adobe Character Animator that I'm using for this particular one, just because. I don't know. It looks a little bit different. I like the cartoony aspect of it, and
I mean, yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the ones on Zoom look are still kind of clunky. So
Well, yeah, they're trying to catch up to a lot of what like TikTok does with their and Snapchat filters and whatnot. So like
yeah,
they're getting the hand-me-downs of the hand-me-downs of
for
what
the
we
hand.
could use.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I'll stick with this for a while, and then maybe I'll update it after. I don't know, whenever I feel like it. Whenever I get around to the next little project, I
Right?
would do that. I would do this every week, but Miles does not have the skills or the computer to do the same thing. I would we don't live anywhere near each other, and so I can't just go over to his house and get him all set up.
I mean,
Plus, he doesn't even have a computer. He just uses his phone
oh
for everything and a
wow.
tablet. He doesn't even have a laptop or nothing.
What
So,
a schmuck.
well, it's not his thing, you know.
I mean, he's probably
He's got other
smarter.
hobbies.
He's probably smarter doing that anyways.
Yeah, I like to, mess around with stuff, so that's why.
Oh yeah, me too. That's why I'm involved in so many different things.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun, right? So,
Yeah. Well, see, my problem is everything I like to have fun with is way too expensive. That's my problem.
well, yeah, you have to bring your taste down a little bit, or just find different ways to do it, or
Well, I mean,
or steal.
no, I mean, maybe. Well,
You
no, yeah, probably. But,
could steal. You could sell your blood. I don't know. Whatever.
see, my
It's
problem is,
dragons. You could sell your blood. That's good.
see, I'm a very big gun nut. So, like, the safe behind me is almost full, and I want more. Like, that's the problem. Is I just want more. Why don't I have
So
more?
then that's your priority then. So
Right.
therefore, you can't get it all. I mean, unless you win the lottery or something. I guess.
I mean, yeah. I don't know though, because I've been kind of interested into the 3D printing of guns and how to get like the 80% builds and then use that to build up what you need. It takes a moment to do, but I realize the 3D printer I need for it is $600 to start. And it's like,
Right.
I can't shit that money right now. Come on.
Well, sell some more plasma. You'll be all
Right.
right. I don't even, how much does plasma go for these days? I have no idea.
$50, I think.
Oh, that's not worth it.
No, I'm good. I'll pass. I'll pass.
That's
no,
not worth it.
I was looking at it because it just popped up in my YouTube feed of like a shorts. This dude 3D
They know you.
Hey, they
got
do. They
you.
do. This dude 3D printed the stock for a muzzle loader.
Log out.
He turned it from a muzzle load to a bolt, like a break action, like a shotgun to load his stuff. I'm like, that is amazing. And he's like, yeah, it only cost me $80 for the resin. I'm like, that'd be, yeah, okay. Now tell me how much for the actual printer.
Right,
you know?
how much for the equipment?
It
And
says
then
the
you got to
man.
have a machine to run it anyway, don't you? I mean, I don't even know what it takes to run those.
Usually the printer itself is just, once you program it, it goes. And then a buddy of mine's calling me out right now. He says the man who dropped a hefty penny on a computer. Listen, that's for project production value.
But it's all priorities, man. You got to just stack them up and see where they land. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Well, that's not the worst part. I just recently bought a small tractor.
What are you gonna do with that?
I have about 35 trees I need to cut down and move. And I don't want to ruin my back. So,
okay.
tractor.
Yeah.
It's only an 18 horsepower Kubota. It's nothing fancy.
You're gonna, we could also just get other people to do it.
So my nearest friend that lives by is 15 minutes away, and he works about 18 hours a day. He's not gonna want to help me.
Oh my gosh! He needs to stop that. That's for sure.
I mean, so it's good and bad from what I've heard. He'll work 18 hours one day, and then his boss will go to him and go home, like halfway through his shift on the next day.
Yeah.
So like it kind of levels itself out, but it's still bullshit.
Yeah, you're still slaving away. 18 hours is a little bit much.
All right. So
So
would you? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I'm very curious about. I love the name, the Fluffy Hobo, and I was gonna ask you how did that come to be?
So it originally started with the same buddy I was just telling you about. Because we were going to do something. The workaholic. We were going to do something together, and we had to do name tags. And he just took the name tag out of my hand and wrote Fluffy Hobo and slapped it on me.
Oh,
and
okay.
Like,
so it was spontaneous.
And I was like, what the hell is this all about? And then I thought about it for a while, and I was like, well, I'm fat, and I'm politically homeless. It works!
Well, is the fluffy part? I don't. Is it? Where's that fit into that? I got the hobo.
The comedian Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh, okay.
He says I'm not fat, I'm fluffy. It's like,
I got you.
That'll work.
You know, I don't think I've really watched a lot of him, so I didn't. I knew he was called Fluffy. I didn't realize he was called Fluffy because he was fat.
I mean, that's what a lot of people say. Like, it's like, you're fluffy. It's a politically correct term of calling somebody fat.
Oh, okay. Hey, I didn't learn something new every day. Maybe this is.
I don't think it is. Like, honestly,
when we come across the time change there in Indiana, then it maybe we want to hear that over here in Missouri.
The time change?
Yeah, you guys don't do daylight saving time over there, right?
I think the bill recently passed that we don't anymore. Because there was no, that's for something else. No? I'm going to have to look into it when we're done. But I'm pretty sure it passed, and this fall we don't do time change anymore.
Okay, I thought, northern part of Indiana used to do the time change, and I guess that's where you're at. But the southern part of Indiana never did the time change.
So Indiana is fucking weird, and that's the best way I can put it. Because there is like a small chunk of Indiana that's on Central Time. For some fucking reason.
Up north, by Chicago, right? So by Chicago, and that's why. Yeah.
Just no reason for it whatsoever.
Right.
Because you've got Michigan hanging out over that section of Indiana, and that's on Eastern Time.
Right, yeah.
So, it's stupid.
Well, the time change is stupid, but that's a whole other thing.
I mean, it was something for the farmers way back in the day.
But farmers don't care about changing the time. They just get up when they got to get up. That's what... I always said that in school, but that's not really the thing either. They just you talk to farmers, they don't care what time it is. They just go, I got to get up and go.
So my theory is it was the government trying to see how much bullshit we could put up with before we said no.
I would say yeah. I every time the time changes, I go on a rant about this, but it is just a weird controlling thing the government does, and it kills people. The time change actually kills people. So because it stresses people who can't be stressed, and then they die. It's terrible. The time change is a killer. I could be a politician saying that.
Everyone, today we need to talk about time change. Okay.
Time change is killing people.
They say it's killing people. I don't want to believe them, but people say it's killing them.
Killing them. But anyway, I won't take up too much of your time with that. But I really was. Fluffy Hobo, that's a good one, though. I think that's a very good... well, now that I know it means fat, it's not quite got the cachet, but I liked it before a lot better, maybe.
I mean, there's multiple interpretations for it, because it could be like, oh, he's got a beard. Maybe he's a hairy guy. Or nope, he's a fat ass.
Okay. I was thinking the beard thing was my thought. So.
I don't really care too much. I've always been a heavy-set guy my whole life. I don't care about being called fat. It does literally nothing for me. So I was like, I'm just going to lean into it.
There you go.
And then lo and behold, something I didn't know. People were like, oh, you're so brave for being a body positivity. I'm like, what? I call myself a fat ass. What are you talking about?
Body positivity. Fluffy Hobo is body positive.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you. I'll tell you body positivity right after I get done telling you about the seed oils in your food.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, I'm everywhere. I know a lot about everything, and I hate it. Because, It was it. This one dude at work was like, "Here, man, you need to try this." And I looked at it, and the first thing I did was flip it over and looked what the ingredients were. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Making sure it doesn't have this crap in it." I hand it back to him. But it tastes really good. I said, "I don't need it. I'm good."
What was it? Was it a granola bar or something?
It was some kind of candy bar he found that he's never seen
okay.
before.
Yeah.
And I immediately read it, and I'm like, "This has got soybean oils in it." I said, this stuff will destroy your liver. It goes. So seed oils will wrap around your cells and compact them. And what happens when you compact something? It heats up, and when cells heat up, they divide. And when they can't go anywhere because they're trapped in that oil, it starts to make a cancerous tumor. And
nice.
That is the closest correlation we have to why cancer is on the rampage, because you can look at like when seed oils were introduced to our food supply.
Oh, interesting. But it tastes so good.
I know, it tastes so good right to the grave. But here I am talking about the pinnacle of health, and I'm a smoker. Like,
well, there you go.
I don't know.
It tastes so good.
Yes, this whole 23-cent cigar thing. Oh yeah, it tastes so good. Let me tell you.
Tastes so good.
It is awful. Cheyennes, I love you, but I hate you at the same time. Never change.
Oh my goodness. Is there a filter on that thing?
So I ripped the filters off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just always have, because I smoked Lucky Strikes for a long time. I smoked Lucky Strikes. So it's like anything with a filter is like, I don't want it. Get rid of what are you doing? I don't want it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm kind of a weird one.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd just start eating the oils.
I mean, I can still run.
I mean, you can't
That's all I can.
at this point.
I
Really.
can still run. That's all that matters to me. I can.
How far?
So I have this strange superpower that I have always claimed I've had, and I, for the most part, still do. I can run as fast and as far as I need to for 5 minutes a day. Like that's my superpower.
That's it.
That's
in
it.
5 minutes. You can put a timer on it. And just, okay,
It's
5
pretty
minutes
much pretty much exactly 5 minutes.
Come see Steve, the fluffy hobo, run the 5-minute marathon.
Oh yeah, because well, you know how high school kids are. They're dicks to each other.
Sure.
One of my friends, I will name him Doug. Dick, I hope he's watching. He was in track and field, and he was always make fun of me. He's like, "Man, you could never catch me. You're too fat. You can't catch me. You're too fat." And then I chased his ass down the hallway, and then he realized, "Oh shit, Steve can run." Like, yeah.
Well, he didn't know the 5-minute rule, so.
Well, that's where I
yeah.
found out the 5-minute rule started.
Okay. Like a timer. It's like you twist the timer and you got 5 minutes to run, and then that's it.
So I think what it really comes down to is I refuse to go down easily in the zombie apocalypse, so I force myself to have some energy to run.
Oh, okay.
It's dumb as it sounds. But who knows? What's your zombie plan?
Hide. They're not very smart generally, at least not in the movies, and so they don't really. They're not like ex-DEA agents looking through everything and trying to find hiding places. So just hide.
That reminds me. Did you ever? I'm pretty sure it was a TV show at one point in time where they had a team of FBI agents hunt down this dude. They had to hide something in the city or something. And they had 24 hours.
Fox.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but I do recall that it was, kind of a most dangerous game scenario with FBI agents hunting people. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That.
It was like some of the most wanted, probably. I don't know.
Right. I always thought the concept was cool, and I figure like you should take like retired Texas Rangers or someone that's got prestige that's been retired to do that show again nowadays.
You get Tommy Lee Jones.
He
And
wouldn't do it.
hard target search of every outhouse, hen house, and whatever.
All houses. Anything with
All
walls.
houses.
Rip it to the studs.
He was a U.S. Marshal in the Fugitive movie. Anyway.
Didn't he play a U.S. Marshal in almost every movie he's done?
Yeah, he was the U.S. Marshal in. What was that?
I feel like he
There
was
Will
a-
Be Blood, right? Wasn't he at the?
He was also a U.S. Marshal
He was a
when
sheriff.
he was a marshal or witness protection in another movie.
Yeah, he's a good one for being.
He's always
Cop.
been a law enforcement guy. Always.
Yeah, well, except in Coal Miner's Daughter, and then he was just Loretta
Yeah.
Lynn's husband.
Yeah.
And then he played Two-Face in Batman. But
That was a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. I just remembered that. I'm like, wait, Batman?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did.
yeah, the old. Well,
It's-
not the old Batman, but the old Batman. Yeah.
It's up there. It's up there somewhere.
But they keep bringing back Michael Keaton to be Batman, so I guess he did good enough. So
All right, who would you like to see to play Batman?
next,
Yes.
not Robert Pattinson. I can tell you that right now.
I think, and this is
He's the
gonna.
lamest Batman they've ever had.
I think they should find a complete nobody to do it, because that would fit in with the orphanage story very well.
Yeah, it'd be. Let's see, who could they have here?
You could find somebody who's never acted before to play Batman, and they probably do a pretty good job. All they gotta do is beat people up and play with gadgets.
Yeah, they gotta talk funny. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could do that any hours with auto-tune. Like, it's not hard to do. I think I'm
Yeah, you
kidding.
don't want Steve Buscemi playing Batman. I don't think.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Daniel Radcliffe would be the next Batman. No.
Isn't he like 5'3"?
Yeah, exactly. He's a really tiny person.
I don't think he would do very well.
He'd be Batmite.
I
Anyway.
bet might. He'd be the Robin of Robins. I mean, I don't know. There's so many different things you could do with like people's voices that change them around. Like technology has gotten very well, very fast.
Yeah, no, I think well, that would be the for all the AI and so forth. You could make anybody Batman. Just do a whole thing where you make people Batman. That would be the gimmick.
Well, I mean, I have a little gimmick thing here too. Like I can simply just with a small click
completely change my voice to be something completely different.
There you go.
I mean, it's just that fast. It's pretty cool, honest.
So is that
It is called that's voice
filter
mod.
on top? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you just run it in the OBS thing or whatever.
So to convolute it down to simple terms, plug microphone into PC and then force the microphone to go through the program
Gotcha.
to go outward. And then at the same time, I can play like different things with my Stream Deck here. Just like
I'm kind of retarded.
I mean, I got a lot of buttons to play with, which kind of piss off my friends sometimes.
And that's why you don't have a 3D printer.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to point that out.
All right, it's going on the list. 3D printer. You know what? I could probably con one of my friends to buy me one and be like, "Just get me what I need, and I'll pay you for it."
Christmas is coming up.
Right?
No.
You missed my birthday, Clarence.
I'll take my next 3 Christmases.
Give me my Christmases and birthdays in advance.
That's right.
And give me what I need. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I could be mean and say, let's see, how much does a carton of cigarettes cost?
the carton the carton that I'm smoking cost $14.20.
Oh my God, you smoke cheap.
Yeah, I do. And one carton will last me about a week and a half. So yeah.
Okay, so let's take that. So a week and a half. So let's just take it times 30. So a year's worth of smokes would probably get you that 3D printer.
Maybe, but is it worth the jail time, though? I think that's where it comes down to. Because every time I try to quit, something goes wrong. Every goddamn time.
Well,
Like,
there you go.
it was the literal week that me and my dad quit smoking. My brother passed away. And it's like,
wow.
really? I just quit. Here we are. We're going right back outside, starting to smoke.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like, yeah. I don't
So you
want to quit anymore.
associate bad things with not smoking. You're basically
I know. It's-
making sure you keep the good times rolling by smoking.
Yeah. What's the phrase?
Maybe.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em?
Smoke them if you, light them up.
Yeah. I mean, the other way of looking at it is like, something's going to kill me. At least I get a choice.
Maybe.
There was actually an article I just read about this. It was, there's this dude from Google brought up the fact of, like, humanity will hit immortality in the next 8 years. Because
I don't know about that.
his theory on this was because the AI, if you're giving AI questions on how to solve things, they can take all the data you give it and give the answer faster than what a doctor could. And then the doctor could take that to go forward to treating you. And with the rapid advancement of technology, you're able to have better cures for things.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think you're giving too much credit to the doctor.
I'm just saying this is what the article said. This
Yeah.
is based on what the article. I mean, if you could give a how-to guide, almost any nincompoop can do anything.
But they won't. That's the thing.
Well, I mean,
nobody will follow.
It's the male mentality. Instructions, this is for losers. Like,
You're, everybody wants choice. They don't want a path to anything. They want choice.
maybe, but I'm one of
No,
those losers that love the instruction manual.
Well, I know I'm saying though, but even if you had it though, you may say, I'm gonna keep choice over a surefire way. You know what I mean?
I mean, it depends on the scale of consequence versus risk. Like, if we're talking open heart surgery, yeah, I'm going to want the instructions. If we're talking how to change a tire, it's like, you're cute, go away. Like, you know what
But
I
if a
mean?
car falls on you, I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, true, but at the same time, it's like, I've been working on vehicles a lot. Like, I started a 91 Dodge Caravan when the gas tank fell out the back of it while I was driving. Tell you the quality of vehicle that was.
That's a good one.
So it's like, yeah.
Is that normal for those good cars?
No, not at all. It was rusted to shit.
Oh, okay. I just
It was
wasn't checking.
it was a beater with a heater. That's what that was.
A beater with a heater.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
I like that. It's a good phrase. It's a
You,
good phrase.
you said you're a Midwesterner. You should know that. That's a common phrase in the Midwest.
I probably have heard it at some point, but I'm not really a car guy. I'm like, whatever.
It's a $500 car. It's a beater with a heater. You don't
Yeah.
care how it looks as long as it gets you there, and it's hot in the winter. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. Totally, and I've had several of those in my life.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I've only recently become upscale to where I don't have the worst car. That's the situation. But that's because I don't care about cars. I'll just take whatever.
Right. I was actually, I bought a 2015 Tacoma, brand new. It was the first new vehicle I've ever owned. And I was like, I'm going to take pride in this vehicle. It's going to last me at least 10 years, all this stuff. And then I ended up working the shit out of it. And I ended up giving it to my wife because her vehicle died. I'm like, here, just take this for right now because I don't really need it right now. And the best thing that could have happened in that vehicle is she got hit in it. And the insurance paid for everything. She's fine, by the way.
That's lovely. The best thing that happened is my wife got hit in that car.
The optics
You
is
know what?
terrible.
I started smoking again the next day.
Yeah, damn right I did. Actually, I think I was midstream when she called me. Somebody called me like, your wife's been in an accident. I'm like, I gotta go, guys. Like just some. But no, it actually.
Give me a pack of cigarettes and matches. I'm out of here.
The insurance payout for that Tacoma paid for her new vehicle, which is a
okay.
2018 4Runner.
There you go.
And so it's like, that's what
the
I
way
mean.
to work the system.
That's what I mean by it. It was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
Was, you trade it up like that. But now she's
Does your
running.
wife call you Fluffy, by the way? Just
No, she usually calls me asshole, shithead, moron, you jerk
Oh,
face.
I see. You're in a loving relationship.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, we're going 7 years strong.
Understood.
Yeah, I mean, so, are you married?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
For a long time.
Has she ever tried to convince you to get a tattoo?
No, I don't have any tattoos. So.
Okay. So
And
here's
I'm
my
not a
wedding
tattoo
ring.
person. Oh, okay.
Here's my
What
wedding
is that?
ring.
Is that a wheel or what is that?
So these are gears with soul fire in it, right? She's got the reverse
Upside
colors.
down? Oh, okay.
Well, I can't really bend my arm and show the
Oh,
camera.
okay. If you break your arm, will you bend your elbow backwards, please?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, no problem. But no, what we're doing is so we're getting close to adding more gears to it and essentially fill
Okay.
up the full arm for how many years we were
So how,
together.
what's a gear signify?
So
how many years
we're really
or
into
whatever?
steampunk, and that's
Uh-huh.
what the gears are for. Is
I
it's
can
like
tell
the
from your
gears of
hat.
life.
It's a very steampunk hat.
Yeah. But no, just every year we add a gear. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, hold your arm up again. I'm trying to count them here.
I got 4 right now,
4. Okay, so 4 years. There we
and
go.
we got this.
And one of those gears, very empty center. So I'm guessing that was a bad year.
That was the first year we were married.
Oh, okay. It was a
You know,
very
everything's
empty year.
getting into shape. You know, you got your first prime gear for all the power.
Yeah. Okay.
And then everything
And then
else
they
is
get-
just
they get more
torque value.
complex as you go along. I
Yeah.
see. Gotcha. Well, that's an
Yeah.
interesting concept. I couldn't imagine getting a tattoo, to be honest with you. But
I
I
mean,
know I have friends that have lots of them. But yeah,
yeah, I have no issue with tattoos, but I have issues wearing rings and jewelry.
I don't
'Cause
like that either.
I've always worked with my hands, so when a ring's on my hand, I'm like, this feels wrong.
It's gonna rip my finger off.
Yeah. Yeah, like my dad's ring. He was like, don't get mad at me, honey, but it's all in like pieces because something grabbed it and ripped it right off. He's like, don't get mad at me.
I picked all the pieces up and I made a charm.
We can glue it back together, right?
It'll be. I'm gonna fire it out of a shotgun into my calf, and it'll just be there forever.
He already had shrapnel in him from the car accident.
He
There
got a
was-
car accident too. What is this? Did he get a new car as well?
No, this was way before I was born. He got into a car
okay.
accident. He got into a bad car accident, and he had shrapnel in his back of his neck spine area. It was just metal shrapnel. And at the time,
And
the
he
doctor
had to have an arc reactor keep it from going into his spine.
Right. But no, the doctor was like, we can fix you, but I have to cut your head off to refine everything because of how it is. And he's like, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I don't think we'll do that.
But no, it was weird. He's like, yeah, as soon as I take one Advil, the pain goes away. I was like, fuck it. You don't need
Really?
no. Yeah, that's all I needed was one
One
Advil.
anvil.
Yeah.
Really?
He's like, Tylenol doesn't do it. Advil does. Whatever. I mean, if it
That
keeps
and
you
a
from
couple of
being pissy.
magnets, and I'm good.
It's funny because he is a welder. So, like, he just touched something and with magnets on him and be like, yep, all right, it's grounded. Like, oh, man. So when does your show usually go on with? Like the weekly? We'll loop this back together. Don't worry.
Oh, no problem. I don't care. Whatever. The typically everything comes out by Wednesday. So, but here lately I've been able to get everything out by Tuesday. So, but I still say everything gets released on Wednesday. So,
Everything gets released on Wednesday?
yeah, Wednesday by noon.
Oh, okay.
And that's
Yeah.
the way it's always been. I've always released on Wednesday at noon, so I've just kept it consistent. But to be honest with you, here lately it comes out on Tuesday.
I mean, that's like with the
I
I've
don't
got.
promise anything until Wednesday at noon.
So that's like what I do is like I stream stuff on Sunday for the D&D stuff, and then Wednesday is usually when I release it out to YouTube because it's. I don't know what it is about Wednesdays, but that's when it gets most of the viewer interaction.
Yeah, people are looking for it on Wednesday, I guess. So that's just the way it's been. But
All right.
it can be any day. It doesn't really matter. But you know, it got in that habit basically from the beginning, and so I just kept it.
Well,
I just kept it that way because that's the way it works.
I've done some, I'm going to say market research, but let me not bullshit you. It was just me doing hard numbers and doing test
I
runs.
Googled.
I didn't Google. I did it myself to find
okay.
the prime time of like when videos get better reception with certain things. Friday and Saturday, if you upload a video, you get nothing. I shit you not, you get nothing. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are the highlights.
Because everybody's at work and they don't want to work, so they're watching shit on YouTube or whatever.
You got it. It's like, oh, it's Wednesday. Let me find something to distract myself with.
But yeah, let me watch this shit here so I don't have to do my work.
Pretty much. I mean, it's true. So where can people find you at?
Anywhere. If you just look it up, it's everywhere. But we do have staticradio.com. That's probably the best place to go. If you're really interested, you might go there. But you can find it on Spotify and everything. We're on so many things I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you, anymore.
We're on all the things.
We're on everything. You know, it's like that movie. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Of course. I mean, I think I'm running right now 3 channels, and I can't keep up with it as it is. So I don't know how you can handle being on everything.
Well, they find me. I didn't find them. So they just steal the feed, as it were. That's just the way it's gone. I've only been invited to one system, and that was Amazon Music. They sent me an email, and they said, would you like to be on Amazon Music? And I said, sure. But everything else, everywhere we've ever been, has been stolen off the feed.
Huh. All right.
So yeah, even iTunes, because we got stolen when we were on Adam Curry's thing. So yeah, everything else, like we're on iHeartRadio or something. I do have accounts now, like on Spotify and so forth, but originally we were on there and I didn't have anything to do with it. They just stole the feed. So
hey, I mean,
that's part of why you have a feed, right? So people can get it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm lazy, so that's my fault. Like, I've got too much shit going on. That's my problem. I can't keep up with it. I need to hire a social media guy.
You think? I don't think so. You just need,
I just don't have time for it.
I'll give you a piece of advice. So just kind of like you do the Wednesday thing. You did market research for that. But just pick a day. I don't care what day it is. And a time when you have time generally where you're sitting down at the computer. And you just say, that's my day to post shit or to prep shit to be posted. If you've got, if you're in one of the services that do that, which there's a bunch of them out there. And you just set them all up and let them, knock them down on their own. And just do it one day. Don't worry about it every day. Just.
Yeah, that's my problem.
It's not like you do want to respond to people and so forth, but as far as, putting your name out there and stuff, just do that. And then at least you'll have it done and you won't be miserable trying to play whack-a-mole with all this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's good advice, but that advice doesn't really work for me, unfortunately, because a lot of times it's, all right, I've got time to do this now. My phone will ring.
Sure.
Shit, I don't have time now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when you're drinking coffee or whatever you do, like in the morning, or do it during those times to where you're kind of set in a place, and so then that way there's some consistency, right? Consistency.
Dude,
this is actually the funny thing is, and I didn't borrow this from him, but it's interesting that there's a similarity to this approach. So Jerry Seinfeld, famous guy, billionaire, yada yada yada. That was his thing. So every day he would write a joke, right?
Right.
And he would string it, right? And so the deal was he would make a note of it. I wrote, something this day, and he just did that. He would try to keep everything going consistently every day, as long as he could. And he said it was stringing the chain, so he'd make another link and make another link, and then after a while, then he's got all this material, and then he pulls from that material to do his shows, and then where he edits his material basically. But he's already created all this material over time, and that's part of the process, and that's essentially the process for all this online stuff. Is like at this point, Miles and I got like over 1,400 shows, right?
Right.
And so it's just stringing the chain. If you're consistent every week, then you get all these shows, and then what happens is each time these aggregators come into existence, and I mean there's so many, I don't even know all these aggregators that do these podcasts now because it's gotten popular. Then they look for these shows that have all this content, and then that fills the bin for them, and so then they pull them in.
Yeah.
But you have to start stringing it in order to get something going there. So it's just consistency over
over
a
time,
lot of other things,
yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes. But I mean, obviously, you want to try to have quality, but that's a little harder to come by sometimes.
I mean, quality is one thing, but my issue is like with being consistent. As Noctville here says, what's consistency? Like, yes, we have a terrible time with it because it's like, all right, I'm gonna put aside time to do this. Well, then here comes the kids. Now here comes somebody else.
Sure.
This needs done. The wife needs something to be done. And it's like, the consistency part doesn't exist anymore because we're busy people. And that's the shitty part about it.
But
so
you have to find a time. So I had 2 kids. They're grown up now, and they basically were not born when I started doing this.
Of course.
And I continued it all the way through. And I didn't neglect them. They're not neglected children. But the deal was then I had to find time when they weren't,
right.
had needs. So it means you stay up late. It means you get up early. That means you basically move your schedule around to fit everybody else's schedule in order to kind of get your hobby done or what have you, because otherwise it just doesn't get done. And that's what happens with a lot of people is they you get caught up in the minutia of other things. And not that I'm not saying that people that you need to do this, because you don't. It's just a hobby, so you can't take it overly seriously. But if you want to try to do something, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's this or that or what have you, in order to learn or move forward on something.
Right.
Consistency is going to be your friend over many other things.
Yeah.
Like it's if you want to get the and I'm teasing you about this, but if you want to get the 3D printer, every time you go and you're like, hey, I'm running around and I'm going to get a big gulp or some shit, you say, know what? I'm going to throw that $2 over here. And before you know it, you got a 3D printer.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true. But
it's hard to do. It's hard to do in practice. It's easy to do in talking about it, but it's very hard to do in practice. So
right. I mean, but then we also got to look at priorities. My priority right now is not 3D printer.
I know, but I'm saying though, the chances are, if you really think about it, you throw away a couple bucks a week easily.
Yeah.
On something that you don't need to throw it away on. That's not a priority. It's a convenience. And you just have to make you have to make yourself think. Wait a minute, convenience, set it aside. And I'm telling you, I mean, yes, it may take a year, but it's all consistency and time.
I'm going to be financially irresponsible and just throw all my side cash to Doge.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that. But I tell you, if you consistently bought, I wouldn't suggest Dogecoin, to be honest with you, but
no.
If you consistently bought something else, then it may pay off. Bitcoin paid off for a lot of people. So.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah. So, but any of that stuff though, that's the whole thing, is not to think about what it is, to think about how you're applying things. Now I sound like one of those stupid economic.
No, not at all, not at all.
Hobo, if you want to increase your wealth,
you need to invest in Bitcoin, gold, and silver, and here's what we can do.
Bitcoin, that's right. You get some ingots.
Oh, what the hell was
it?
it?
Your bed.
It was, I had this impersonation down and now I lost it. Okay, folks, so what we need to talk about is Birch Gold.
Beanie Babies are the wave of the future.
Okay. Maybe for clay pigeons, but...
Get your Garcia bear
Oh
and
my
your
God.
Princess Di bear.
I think I have one of those somewhere. That purple bear with the
See?
white flower, I have one of those
Yeah,
somewhere.
see? And then, you know
Oh,
what?
God.
That is 1/600th of a 3D printer.
Maybe.
Sitting there being wasted. Wasted.
You know what? Maybe I'll do a small video of me shooting that thing.
Get your Dodi El Fayed bear. Anyway. Your
All
Trumpy
right.
bear.
The Trumpy bear. Oh my God. I think that would sell though. I think that would sell. I really do.
They have a Trumpy bear, but it's not a Beanie Baby. It's
I know.
it's a bear with a big wig thing going on there.
Yeah. I can only, well, now with his popularity going out of proportion right now, that'd probably be a fast, hot cash issue thing.
There you go. Invest in the Trumpy bear.
Right? Just put a MAGA hat on it. It'd sell like crazy.
I'm surprised they didn't sell hats with his hairstyle. You know how they had the you could used to be able to buy a hat with like a mullet. You could buy a hat with
they're saving that for They're saving that for the Halloween store that comes by, week of Halloween or whatever, because it's just gonna be angry politician and it's just gonna be a blonde wig.
There you go.
That's all it needs.
You wear a bad, ill-fitting suit and a blonde wig. There you go.
All right, Bob. Thanks for hanging out, man. Is there anything else you got for me? Any questions you got for me?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I've given you life advice. I told you, I put the plug in for the show. Ask you about where your name came from. Let me think. I got a list here. No, I think that's about it. 3D printer, there you go.
All right. I will send you a link when this is done doing its kabobble thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll send you the dibbly-doo. But thank you so much.
We'll put it out there.
All right, we will. All right, and for everyone who's watching, thank you. This is only possible with viewers like you, and I mean that from the heart, not like PBS does that takes taxpayer money.
And if you give $25, you'll get a tote bag and some old cigarette box wrappers.
You know what?
And some burnt matches.
I could probably find some of my old flying fuck coins. They're silver coins, and it's got wings on it, and it says one flying fuck on it. I will sell those for $25 a piece.
There you go.
But I need the 3D printer for it.
I'm raising money for my 3D printer.
Oh my God. Just kickstart this shit.
I got Chat GPT 4 working on a solution. I'm either going to get that printer or I'm going to cure cancer. Either one.
The degenerate in me is like, all right, I got Chat GPT 4 working on the porn of your choice. Like, I need $100 starting.
The only bad thing about that is I think pretty much everybody knows what the porn of their choice is.
I mean, you're creating it with your own image. All right, Bob, you have a wonderful night, my friend. Thank you so much.
You too. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah. And everyone else, I will see you next time.
I do decree that it is time to anoint Fluffy the king of all shit. Thank you.
Hey guys, I just want to tell you something. Fluffy Hobo is the king of shit. And that's Ghost approved.
Okay, everyone. I'm just making an announcement real quick. I would like to indefinitely recognize the Fluffy Hobo as the king of shit. Undisputedly, indefinitely. He will for always be the king of shit.
I doubt I can even land a hit with this gun. Well, that's new. Like a glove, he nails it. I can't believe he did that. This is no longer me being a sniper. This is me just being a dick.
I missed him. Ah!
Jesus!
Ouch. Guess we'll...
I forgot that
Yeah,
thing
dude.
on an automatic.
Proceed with mission.
I'm coming through that door right in front of you. The door's gonna open here now. Oh shit, that's the wrong thing! Hi. Oops.
I do